Moving to the inside and passing Darrell Waltrip, Bodine picks up another position, and it appears as if that car is working well, and Terry Labonte has passed Bill Parsons, and now Ricky Rudd to the inside of the right-hander, and he too passes Bill.
No, that is not faster cars coming up in the back of the pack and putting a lap on Bill Parsons. Bill Parsons has been very much in the thick of it all weekend long. Bill Parsons running the top 5, and there's Neil Bonnett. It looks like an engine. Flames coming from underneath the hood of the Valvoline Pontiac as Bonnett goes to the right-hand side of the road down the backstretch, and that looks highly terminal. There's no way he's going to get all the way around to the pits.
And so goes the year with Neil Bonnett. He had numerous top 10 finishes that put him second in the point standings, but in the most recent race at Talladega, he finished 32nd after having been involved in an incident. He was still running at the end of that race, however, but finished 32nd and dropped back to 4th in the point standings. And now Neil Bonnett is going to pick up only a few points here, it appears, as what appears to be an engine lets go as he comes out of that 5th turn. A big plume of smoke, and you can even see some fire coming from underneath that race car. Neil takes it to the inside, pulls off the race course, and Neil Bonnett is silent in the Valvoline Pontiac.
Boy, to go out of the lead that way. There's Bodine getting around with a little bit of a nudge from Dave Marcus as they go into turn number 1. Neil Bonnett, who has told us he's going to try pro stock drag racing in the near future. He's very enthused about that very soon. He's talking with Raymond Beadle and Kenny Bernstein in the pit area this weekend here at Watkins Glen about it.
Jeff Bodine is certainly not out of this race as the damage on the front end appears to have settled that car down very much and not slowed it down. And Jeff Bodine continues to move his way through traffic and is at the present time being shown all the way up to 5th.
Derek Cope directly in front. Derek Cope racing a little bit with Jeffrey. Remember, Derek slides out of turn number 4 there. Derek qualified second at MIS, and Derek Cope holding, and we got a crash in Bobby Hillin and Sterling Marlin.
And it appears as if Hillin has made contact with the tire barrier. Marlin is able to get back onto the racetrack, but Bobby Hillin has damaged the left front of his race car in a collision with the tire wall. So another caution flag comes out, our 3rd of the afternoon, and perhaps we can catch at least the tail end of this crash, and there is contact being made between the two cars.
It looked like that Sterling Marlin and the Piedmont Olds had looped it, and Bobby Hillin was right behind and had nowhere to go and had to steer to the left side of Sterling. He got into the grass, which, remember, is very wet because of the rains we've had the last 2 days, and probably slid right over into the tire wall.
Jeff Bodine, Darrell Waltrip, and others are in for another stop. As you can see, Harry Gant pulling back onto the racetrack. The yellow flag comes out on lap number 26, our 3rd of the day, and they are continuing to work on the left side of that race car on Jeff Bodine, and there is the badly damaged race car of Bobby Hillin Jr. after its collision with the tire barrier.
Talk about toe-in causing damage to the front tires. Bobby Hillin Jr. is experiencing the extreme.
And Bodine goes back out onto the racetrack. Right behind him is Darrell Waltrip, so this caution period is going to juggle the standings once again, as some came in for a stop and some did not.
Bill Elliott, as we have been watching Darrell there in the tied Chevy number 17, and Jeff, Bill Elliott has pulled back onto the racetrack. Of course, he is several laps down, but very much in the thick of it for the points for 1987. It appears to be in the thick of it for second to Earnhardt, but we do have more than 10 races to go.
There are 19 cars being shown in the lead lap at this point, and they're being led by Rusty Wallace, with Terry Labonte running in 2nd position, and Hillin limps into the pit area. Let's go to Dick Berggren.
They've got real problems here on Bobby Hillin's car. The front end of this thing is really torn up. The crew has just not even touched the car. They've sort of sent him around. He's going to have to go behind the wall. They've really got a lot of work to do to make this thing a race car again. It's very badly bent.
So Bobby Hillin will go behind the wall, and they'll try to do some repairs on his car. Bobby started this race in 17th position. Last year here at Watkins Glen, he finished in 28th spot. And his best finish on a road course was at Riverside, 6th in the Winston Western 500 last year. And there is a very dejected Neil Bonnett walking to the pit area. He's abandoned his race car that he had to pull off the course, and Neil Bonnett makes the slow walk back to the pit area. He was leading when it happened, but it's all over for Neil Bonnett. And there is Benny Parsons. He appears to be out for a Monday morning, early afternoon drive, as Benny is still in this race and right behind the Richard Petty machine. We'll be back with more of our coverage at the Budweiser at the Glen from Watkins Glen, New York.